So hi there, welcome everyone to the full moon of January event. We have those of us joining us in person here in Woking, and I'm just saying this for the benefit of those joining us from around Europe and in fact from different places in the world as well, who are also joining in, as we are the representatives for the whole of Europe today doing our full moon event. So it's in fact the fifth time we've done it here in Europe, and I'd like to thank Mr. Pett, who has recently joined us from Newcastle, for being both the MC and the leading the exercises today, because everyone else has been put in self-isolation this week. In fact, most of the people who normally do this are in self-isolation, so we have a little bit of head scratching to add to the excitement today. Anyway, I hope everyone's feeling more relaxed and comfortable now after the exercises, and in a few moments I will lead you through a few moments of meditation. For those of you who have never meditated before, I would like to mention that generally speaking our mind tends to be caught up in the things around us, so much so that sometimes we are so distracted by the lives we lead that it's very hard for us to return our awareness from all the things out there to somewhere back within ourselves, where we can recharge and replenish our state of mind, perhaps at the end of the day. Some people have even referred to the way we lead our lives, which is so distracting these days, as having our awareness held hostage by the things around us. And if you think why the editors of video shows have to change the picture every 5 seconds in order to keep your attention, then you got some inkling of the way the world works today in order to keep us from thinking about anything else. But there comes times in our life when we do need to return to ourselves, when we do need to have a sense of who we are, where we're going in life, and what is meaningful for us. And without that, then it's like we live our lives in a very hollow way, and our life becomes something of a vacuum to us. So what meditation provides us with is a tool by which we can take our awareness back from all those things trying to grab our attention out there and bring it back to a space within our body. Anywhere inside the body is a lot more calming than having our awareness outside of ourselves. But there's a special place which is particularly calming, which you can see on the slide I've shown you here, which is a place also known as the center of the body. It's on the level of the solar plexus, on the level of your diaphragm, and if the awareness is in that general area, anywhere that feels comfortable, then it will somehow start to calm down automatically. So anything we can do to keep the awareness in balance at that area will affect our state of mind to make it calmer and more in tune with who we are and what is meaningful for us in life. And there are many ways to meditate in order to do that, but the one that we usually use here at this meditation center is to conjure up some sort of picture in the mind or conjure up some sort of feeling in the mind. So if it's a picture that you prefer, you could maybe think of something bright like the sun, or as we're doing the full moon today, maybe a full moon shining in the sky, or perhaps a star, got a star as well, or even candlelight, anything that is bright and rounded. And what you would do in your imagination is take that picture and bring the picture to that point inside of yourself. By bringing the picture there, then your mind or your awareness will follow where the picture goes. You may find your mind wanders off from that place or from that picture, but that is part of the task of meditation, just to bring the mind back when it wanders off. And by doing that repeatedly, little by little, it will become a little bit more settled at the center, and to become second nature to have our mind within ourselves, looking outward rather than being outward and sort of being on the inside, looking out, as it were. Sometimes it's not as easy as that, because we have a lot of thoughts in the mind, and if that is the case, you may find something useful for you is to make use of a mantra, have some sort of short phrase or meaningful or uplifting phrase going through your mind, silently I should add, which will help to disperse the thoughts which are in your mind more easily. If you find the thoughts are not going away so easily, if you find that that's not necessary, you may find that just by not elaborating on the thoughts, they will die down by themselves. So either of two approaches, using a mantra or just letting the thoughts settle, is a way to overcome any distracting thoughts in your mind. Generally, any meditation we do, we'll spend the first 5 minutes making sure we're comfortable, either whether we're on a chair or sitting on a meditation mat on the floor, making sure our back is fairly straight and that our muscles are as relaxed as possible. The way to put our hands together is the right hand on top of the left hand and the index finger of the right hand up against the thumb of the left hand. And our hands just rest palm upwards in our lap. After relaxing our body, we generally try to put our mind in a positive frame of mind, and also conjure up a sense of happiness while dispersing any other distracting thoughts from the mind. And this is even before we make a start on the meditation itself. So what we're going to do today is that we're going to have a meditation which in total is about 45 minutes long. But as it's a special full moon event today, halfway through I'm going to ask you to, those who would like to come out and light up our little star motif at the front. And the star is apparently the star of hope for our year ahead. Apparently it's all in the stars or something to do with destiny. So it's a star we have as our little motif today. So I'd like to invite you to get comfortable for your meditation now, and I will lead you through the meditation for real this time round. So let's make a start on our meditation together. Before doing so, we need to make sure our body is comfortable and to make sure our body is relaxed. We sit in our most comfortable position, a position by which we feel the most relaxed. Could be on a chair, could be on a cushion on the floor, or any other way that you feel relaxed. You can place your hands palm upwards in your lap, or really in any other position that is comfortable for you. Any way that is soothing to your body. And when you're ready, softly and gently close your eyes. We close our eyes just enough to stop our surroundings from being a visual distraction. There's no need to close our eyes tightly. We close our eyes just enough that our eyelashes touch lightly together. And so that we feel relaxed and calm. If we close our eyes properly, every other part of our meditation will automatically fall into place. Because meditation is about relaxing and getting comfortable in the way we like it. And we'll notice that if we are fully relaxed, just by the way it feels to us subjectively, and no one else can know better than us. So if we feel that we are comfortable, then we will know that we've got it exactly right. But in the meantime, we relax our forehead, allow the muscles of our face to become soft, and relax our jaw. Relax our shoulders, arms, our trunk, our abdomen and our legs. We make sure that we are completely relaxed all the way from the top of our head down to the soles of our feet. And it's worth taking the time to make sure we are properly relaxed. There's no need to rush at all at this stage. And having relaxed our body, we can turn our attention to relaxing the mind. For now, we let go of any worries and thoughts of responsibilities, putting them to one side for the time being, to allow us to relax. To let our mind make its journey inward, just for a while, just being relaxed and neutral and free of all worries. And as we are relaxing, as we are just practicing to rest our mind, we take a few moments to check in with ourselves, to see whether if we are fully relaxed, calm and content, or if our attention has become distracted, wandering to other things we have in our mind. If there are any distractions, then we bring our mind back on track. We check in with ourselves for any residual tension or drowsiness that might have crept into our meditation. And if we have any other feelings, any other thoughts that are holding us back from being peaceful, calm and relaxed, holding us back from a feeling of purity within ourselves, then all we need to do is just let go of those obstacles, tensions, wandering thoughts or drowsiness. And before long, our mind will softly and gently, almost automatically, return to where it likes. Where it feels it likes, to where it's balanced and relaxed, without us having to do anything special at all. Simply by maintaining this feeling, by being calm and relaxed. Whatever happens, we just let it be and let it go. And our mind will start to feel the flow of positive energy and purity that arises from within, eliminating any darkness, drawing back the curtain that obscures the subconscious mind. And we'll be able to pull back the veil like the moon breaking free of the clouds in the night sky, to restore us to all-round inner vision. But to achieve this, all we need to do is just to remain neutral and relaxed, allowing us to travel inward, further and deeper, becoming purer and clearer in our view of the world, and attracting peace energy into our lives, gathering up abundance in the things that we need, simply by being still. Still without doing anything and remaining at peace in every moment. And at this point, if you find that your mind is unable to settle, you might try conjuring up the image of a bright crystal sphere wherever inside you feel comfortable. It doesn't need to be clear. As long as you feel it right there, it's okay. Before long, we'll start to feel light in weight. We'll start to feel the illumination on the inside. And we'll start to notice that when we close our eyes, it's no longer dark inside. But whatever happens in our meditation, there's no need to pay too much attention to the detail. We simply relax and let go, and allow this positive energy to keep flowing through us, cleansing our body and mind. The sense of happiness inside us will gradually accumulate more and more, with a sense of fulfillment, a sense of flourishing, a sense of being nourished with happiness. A happiness of the sort that we would be happy to share. Happiness that brushes off on those around us as well. So we take this opportunity, this time that we have together right now, to relax, to be free of worry, to be with this inner feeling of comfort, of peace, within our mind, to enjoy this flow of relaxation together in silence for a few more moments in silence. Sometimes living life can start to feel rather like a chore, and an endless struggle to pursue and maintain a feeling of happiness. We become reliant on a temporary rush of new experiences, each more extravagant than the last. Whether it be food or drink, clothes, fast cars, relationships, work, or even a sense of peace and quiet in the countryside. And what happens when the excitement wears off? As soon as we become trapped and dependent on these external things for our happiness, we can end up with a feeling of withdrawal when we can no longer access it. By contrast, meditation brings with it an underlying sense of peace, a feeling of fulfillment or unshakable contentment. No matter what emotion might be in play at the time. The breathing space meditation restores to our mind is not a quality dependent on superficial emotions. It can be experienced just as clearly in periods of sadness or anger as it can in times of excitement and laughter. Essentially, it's being okay with whatever thoughts you're experiencing or emotions you're feeling. That's why meditation feels good, often even from the first time we meditate. A sense of contentment arising from meditation may not lead to raucous, jovial laughter, it leaves you with a sense of having touched upon that underlying sense of a place in life where you just know that everything is going to be okay. And the consequence of this can be life-changing. Time spent meditating can change the way a person feels about things triggering stress in our lives. For example, the absence of a loved one. It may not make the situation less stressful, but it changes the way you respond to those stresses. Although you may experience a great sense of loss and sadness at times, but you can be able to treat it differently. It's like engaging with a place beneath those thoughts and feelings where there is a sense of peace, of stillness and calm. And having learned to access those deeper emotions through meditation, you find it's an aptitude that can never be taken away from you again. No matter what else happens to you in life, you'll always have this place within yourself to return to. Though it may seem obvious for us to exercise our bodies, but we tend to overlook the well-being of the mind. Sometimes it's because no one else can see our mind or because we think it's a lost cause. But since our entire existence is experienced through the mind, since we depend on it for our sense of happiness and fulfillment in life, and for positive relationships with others, taking a few minutes out of each day to meditate should be common sense for us. If we're able to meditate regularly, we would discover that the benefits of meditation are much broader than the qualities that arise directly from it. The way the mind benefits from meditation is similar to the way A computer might benefit from defragmenting the hard drive in terms of consolidating and streamlining the information in the mind, and reducing the flakiness and speeding up our access. Meditation tends to have a positive impact in wherever in life it's most needed. Because there's hardly any part of our lives that doesn't involve the use of our mind in some way. Given the central role that the mind plays in our lives, it's remarkable that more people have not cottoned on to the importance of regular meditation practice in life. Really, there's no need to focus on a particular area of your life where you'd like meditation to help. At least, not at first. Sometimes knowing how meditation has helped others in specific ways, whether it's as an all-round stress buster or as an aspirin for the mind, it can also help make us aware of its full potential. Meditation isn't about becoming a different person, a new person, or even a better person. It's about training in awareness and understanding the how and why of what you think and feel, and getting a healthy sense of perspective on the process. If you can manage to do that, any changes you want to make in your life become that much more attainable. More than that, it shows that you're able to be okay with the way you are right now and how you feel. The sort of self-awareness that meditation brings allows us to be more fully present in the moment and undistracted. It implies resting the mind in a neutral state of awareness, which is free of any bias or judgment. The buzzword for all these qualities of mind as we apply them to our waking life is the term mindfulness. And this quality of mindfulness contrasts with most of how we live our lives, which is to be constantly caught up with little and big thoughts and feelings, and constantly being critical or judgmental about ourselves or others. It's usually when we're caught up in all the little things that we start to make mistakes. Mistakes that can affect our performance at work or in our relationships with others. So, successful meditation is a direct experience of the present moment. In the same way that it's up to you to define the purpose of meditation, it's also up to you to own the experience of meditation. It's like you could never understand the taste of an exotic food by hearing about it second-hand from a friend. You'd never be able to appreciate the experience of skydiving by hearing someone else's description. In the same way, in order to get why meditation is special, you need to practice it for yourself. So we familiarize ourselves with methodology and subjective experience of meditation in the here and now for a few moments longer, so that we can return to it again, finding a way to integrate it into our daily lives. Now for a few more moments in silence. So now that we feel as if our state of mind and the flow of peace energy within ourselves are becoming one and the same, we continue to maintain our awareness at the center. We continue to remain in that ocean of peace energy while we slowly open our eyes in order to joining with the lighting of the candles today. So now is the time for us to illuminate the world by lighting little candles that we have prepared, feeling that candle light radiating warm and bright, with the candles symbolizing our inner light, our peace energy, and our positive hopes and intentions today. So for any of you who feel that you'd like to help with the lighting of the candles today, I would encourage you now to come up to the front and to light the little star motifs that we have prepared today. And yes, you can light more than one candle if you are up to it. So taking the light of the candles as our inner object, we gently close our eyes again, settling again for our meditation practice. And we take a few moments to re-engage with that positive energy and relaxation inside, to reconfirm that we are still calm and contented, still feeling that flow, that brightness within ourselves, while remaining relaxed and contented. We bring the mind to that warm, fuzzy feeling inside that we associate with good things in our lives that we are proud of. We let those feelings coalesce into a bright, clear crystal sphere inside us, while conjuring up a sense of thankfulness for all the opportunities that we have to do good things in our lives, for all the sense of peace energy flowing through our lives. You might also reflect on that sense of gratitude for the opportunity to reconnect with a sense of relaxation and the possibility of a haven of peace within our own bodies and within our minds. A haven of contentedness within us that we can always rely upon. We might cast our mind to things in our lives that we can be thankful for, whether it's merely being alive, still to be breathing, or a sense of gratitude for all the virtuous or altruistic people in our lives, those who support us, those who encourage us to be our best selves, encourage us to perform wholesome things in our lives, and to open up to more positive aspects of our lives. We engage with a feeling of gratitude for this feeling that we are experiencing right now, a sense of inner peace that arises from being relaxed and content. With this feeling, our mind, our whole state of mind, will be gradually cleansed as time goes by, without us having to do or worry about anything at all. So we rest the mind inwardly and be thankful, letting that positive energy flow onwards within our mind, while making an affirmation for ourselves to always be happy, healthy, wealthy, successful, fulfilled in all of our good wishes, free from illness, danger, anything leading to untoward things in our lives, while attracting wise, virtuous people, being inspired to remain on a path towards wisdom and illumination in our lives. So we take a few moments to bring positive affirmations to mind for our own lives. And through this peace energy, we allow our mind to become ever brighter, clearer, purer as a result of our meditation. And comfortably ensconced in this accumulated peace energies, we share our loving kindness, share the peace energy with those that we love, our family, our friends, those toward whom we wish to express gratitude, possibly by picturing them at our center and sharing this feeling and positive energy with them. Even if it's just a gentle intention, it will be quite enough. And our energy will flow outwards towards them all, sharing with them all the peace energy. We can start by sharing that peace energy with those in the room with us, before expanding the feeling outwards to all the sentient beings in the building, wishing all those sentient beings be happy, healthy, wealthy, successful, fulfilled in their good wishes, free of infection, sadness, sorrow, danger or misfortune, while being able to move in direction of happiness and fulfillment in life with ease. And sharing our loving kindness, our peace energy further still, outwards to our community, society, country, the entire world. Wishing those sentient beings be happy, healthy, wealthy, successful, fulfilled in all their good wishes, free of infection, sadness, sorrow, danger or misfortune, while moving towards the utmost of happiness and contentment in life. May the world be free of pandemics and wars. As we continue to let that peace energy flow, and as we continue to let that peace energy flow through all of us and outwards to brighten up the whole world, building a world of peace, sharing peace one person, one sentient being at a time. We share this energy even wider on the level of the galaxy, universe and cosmos, without borders, without limits, infinitely, with the wish that all living beings, wherever they are to be found, be filled with peace and love. And having shared our love, our peace with everyone and every being in this world, we bring our attention, our awareness softly and gently back to ourselves, to where we feel the most comfortable, the most relaxed. And for the last few moments of our practice, we bathe ourselves, bathe our mind with this peace and happiness for a few more moments in silence. Sappa Buddhanupavena, Sappa Dhammanupavena, Sappa Sankhanupavena Sattha Soti Bhavantu Te. So if you'd like to come to the end of your meditation for this evening, you can gradually open your eyes again. If you feel at all uncomfortable, then we slowly try changing to a more comfortable position before gradually finishing our practice. So I hope that worked out okay for everyone, meditation-wise. New folks, easy enough to follow along with? You had something you could focus on inside? Yeah, so you have something to work with. Very good already. So tonight we come to the first full moon of the year, and according to the Old Farmer's Almanac, our full moon this month is generally referred to as the full wolf moon, and that's from Native American or colonial American and European sources. And a little poem that goes with that from John Stoddard was that the sunset embers smolder low, the moon climbs over the hill, the peaks have caught the alpenglow, and the robin's song is still. And The January full moon, being known as the wolf moon, is generally because the wolves are more likely to be heard. Don't know if you've heard any. Not quite that wild here in Surrey. It is traditionally believed that the wolves used to howl because they were hungry in the winter. But apparently these days we know better, that they howl for different reasons. Sometimes to do with territory, sometimes to locate their friends, sometimes to reinforce their social bonds, and sometimes to coordinate in their hunting. But wolves generally get quite a bad rap, in popular culture anyway. Often fictionalized as the villains of fables and fairy tales. The cliche of the big bad wolf. In some places like Finland, the wolves have survived. People are still a little bit anxious about whether they're going to nab their children on the way to school. But mostly wolves are more scared of people than people are of the wolves. But because of a lot of misunderstandings, they're pretty much wiped out from Europe between the 18th century and the present day. Nonetheless, the whole topic of wolves and the wolf moons might not be too far removed from home, because they've been making news headlines recently. And I don't mean Wolverhampton Wanderers, although I like the colour of their strip. Apparently wild wolves have been spotted outside Lyon in France for the first time in a century. And it's not thought to be anything to do with the ones that escaped from a zoo in Toulouse just after Christmas, because there's as many as 200 wolves now in the south of France. And also the EU is debating whether to allow the hunting of wolves again, because there's so many of them. Threatening wild horses in Spain. And there's also a discussion in the UK of putting wolves into the equation for rewilding of certain parts of the UK as well. So who knows, you might hear a few howls before too long. Some other words used for the moon this month are the center moon, from Assiniboine people of the Great North Plains. The Cree Native Americans call it the cold moon, frost exploding moon, or the great moon. Dakota people call it the severe moon or the hard moon, probably for obvious reasons. And to highlight the phenomenon of fallen snow, the Algonquin peoples call it the freeze-up moon. The Tlingit clans call it the Canada Goose moon. Seen some of those recently. Canada geese. And the Abenaki bands call it the greetings moon, because apparently there's a tradition that they used to get families together, and each person used to bring a small scrap of wood along with them as a symbol of the physical and emotional disorder accumulated in their lives in the dying year. And they used to meditate together in what's known as forgiveness time, whereas the Ojibwe people called it the spirit moon. And there is some folklore to say that if the first moon of the year is bright, it promises rain and bountiful harvest, while a red-tinted moon means a dry year, and a halo around the moon predicts wet or stormy weather. So, the spiritual theme of our full moon meditation tonight is power of hope for a brighter tomorrow. And with the theme of a brighter tomorrow, we look for ways to be more positive in every aspect of our lives, except perhaps for the tests we get back from lateral flow or PCR. And as a new year has begun, a lot of people are feeling rather bleak, to say the least, trying to find an end to the pandemic, and we're still living with a lot of darkness. The days have not got very long yet. A lot of uncertainty, endless grey skies. Not exactly the best start to the year. If you like to start the year as you mean to go on, there's still time to change your mindset and find ways to focus on the more positive things in life. And two things which I thought I'd mention today is how we can turn any pessimistic feelings we might have into more optimistic ones, and also replace them with positive views. So there's been a lot of research in positive psychology to show that having a positive mentality can actually improve a lot of things in our lives, whether it's physical health or protection from burnout, success in work generally, and even adding years to our lives. But most importantly for our current climate is that if we think more positively, we are able to be more resilient and bounce back more easily from any negativity or untoward situations in our lives. So what does it mean to be a positive person? Some people think that it's sort of a preset for any particular person, whether they see the glass half full or half empty, but in fact it's all down to the habits that we have and how we tend to frame our life experiences. And it's not like if you are generally a pessimist that you're going to stay like that, but you can learn to see things through a more optimistic lens if you try certain exercises. And one exercise which is very useful to do with reframing is to try on a lens of optimism, to try seeing things from different perspectives, both realistic, optimistic, pessimistic, and then see which one feels better to that person. And there was a big study in 2005 of more than 200,000 people that found that people are less likely to smoke and have issues with substance abuse or eat an unhealthy diet if they have a more cheerful mentality. A separate study from King's College just 5 years ago found that positive thinking and visualization like we were doing, or optimistic self-talk, can reduce intrusive negative thoughts and lessen feelings of anxiety. So since the pandemic arrived in Europe about 2 years ago, it's felt like many things have been outside of our control, and if we want to turn a more pessimistic outlook on the world, which tends to come with the terrain at the moment, into something more positive, we need to focus on things that we can control instead of all the big things that we are outside our control. You might try little things like finding things on your doorstep to do, learning to cook new cuisines, or simply making your work from home space more cozy. You might also give yourself credit for the things that you are doing instead of concentrating on the things that you haven't managed to do that you used to do. And it's said that if you take 5 minutes to write down everything that you have achieved, it will help to cultivate a more positive mindset and build your confidence. We've already got one big collective problem in the form of the pandemic, but it's all too easy to let the little things get sort of swept under the carpet in the sort of the major sort of news, breaking news level of chaos in the world. So to turn pessimism around, we can use a reframing technique, which is often used in cognitive behavioral therapy, which is to take a situation that is troubling us and try to see it through a more positive or grateful lens. Instead of saying to yourself, "Oh, I have to work from home," you can flip it around into, "Oh, I get to work from home." Actually, there's no change in the meaning, but the feeling is very different. it immediately makes it a much more inviting prospect. And let's say you've got something like a burst pipe in your garden, instead of wallowing in annoyance about all the extra work it's made for you, you might think instead of focusing on how happy you are to have a garden at all. Like maybe for many years you didn't have one of your own, or maybe the fact that this is the worst thing you have to worry about, then you're pretty lucky. And to find or to maintain a sense of positivity and joy generally, sometimes it's useful to become aware of the sort of media content that you are consuming. There's a word recently been sort of invented called doom scrolling, which is sort of like you never get to the bottom of the screen. But if you have some idea of the sort of things that you are sort of filling your mind up with, then you probably notice that there's a trend. And if you try to go for more upbeat podcasts or feel-good books or things with happy endings, then generally that would be helpful. Making an effort to practice gratitude generally is a good way to turn things around into a positive light. It may sound like a little bit of a cliche, but often the more joyful people are the ones who feel most grateful for what they have or what they get. And you could try making lists of things that you're thankful for, or even just saying a heartfelt thank you to someone who has helped you, are to do with practice of gratitude. If you are feeling down and you want to find some joy, maybe just focus on what does and what doesn't feel good for you as you move through your days and weeks. Because sometimes we're so busy sort of racing through life that we don't stop to notice the things which actually make us feel better. Simply doing more of the things that make you feel better can sometimes make a big difference. If you're looking for something to exercise gratitude or optimism muscles, one thing which our temple in Thailand is doing this year, in spite of quite a lot of obstacles, is getting monks to go on a long pilgrimage. My only experience of this sort of thing was actually going back to 2007. I walked a whole 7 kilometers under equatorial sun between a monastery called Mendut Monastery and Borobudur Pagoda in the midday sun. And I remember usually we have our shoulder open, and by the end of that I was like totally white and red. Red on all the places that the sun could get to, and white everywhere else. So that was my little sense of adversity. But in Thailand, they're actually walking for a whole month, carrying everything they need with them, walking 12 to 16 miles each day. And in the old days, it used to be like this, walking for a total of 500 kilometers. And the monk you see behind me is the founder of our meditation tradition in Thailand, called the Great Abbot of Wat Phak Nam. The idea of the pilgrimage was to visit all the places that he had been to during his lifetime. So they started doing this 10 years ago. And in the old days, the people used to show their gratitude by putting rose petals down for the monks to walk on. So if you're walking on rose petals, it's like a little bit more bearable than if you're just like soaking up the rays of the sun or whatever. Recently, though, with COVID, it's been a little bit more difficult. They've adapted it to be walking backwards and forwards within temples. They're not allowed to go out on the street so much. In the first years, they were able to walk back and forth in the different temples along the route. Later, they didn't allow them to do that either, so they just walk around with themed visuals in different parts of the pilgrimage. And with the advent of Zoom, they have really keyed into the fact that people can give encouragement even via remote connections. You can express your gratitude even if you can't throw rose petals through the screen of your computer, but you can still sort of give your support, moral support. And what they did was they had all the people giving the moral support up on big screens that the monks could see as they were walking along their 500 kilometers. So that is what's happening this year again, and people are logging in from around the world to give their encouragement for the monks. There's a sense of gratitude as well. So if you want to ever see how that feels, I think for the rest of this month, every Wednesday and Saturday, usually around lunchtime, is the evening in Thailand. You can see something of the atmosphere of gratitude and positivity, which they are trying to cultivate and uplift these poor monks walking around for their 500 kilometers, in spite of all the regulations and so on. And the monks actually, that's usually what you would see if you log in. The monks keep extra rules as they are training in that way. Usually they have only one meal a day. They have to eat out of a single bowl, for example, and they have to camp during their pilgrimage as well. So the extra rules which the monks have to keep on top of the normal 227 which they keep as monks anyway. And encouraging gratitude in such a way, from study of the Buddhist scriptures, it seems that those who practice these extra rules tend to be those who have particularly strong health, inspire confidence in others, and attract followers. And if you encourage them, then something of that will brush off on you as well. Seeing the encouragement coming not just from Thai people around the world, but also from speakers of other languages will help to internationalize our organization more. And simply gathering together, whether it's online or in person, towards this sense of a large number of people who meditate or encourage meditation. It's hoped that the world will change for the better, in the sense of a sort of paradigm shift to the better, which I think our whole world needs at the moment. So for today, that's one suggestion for gratitude. The other thing you can do is to think of loved ones of yours who may be separated from you, or they may have passed, to think with gratitude of them, all the things that you have received from them, again, is a way to cultivate gratitude, which you may find particularly relevant to you at this darker time of the year. So I'll finish off with a few little announcements. That next time, full moon of February coincides with what is known as the Maka Puja, which is a big ceremony where we light candles throughout the whole of this hall. And the theme will be the spreading of the light of hope. So it will be Tuesday in a month's time here. Apart from that, every Saturday online for those of you who like to meditate in a group, but from the comfort of your home. I know some people who are in quarantine still able to join our group in this way. Every Saturday there will be either the Venerable Sander or the Venerable Pisit will give a meditation and Dhamma talk between 7 and 8 p.m. British time, 8 and 9 on Central European time. For the young men amongst you who are interested in a slightly different sort of holiday to get away from it all, we are hoping to reinstate the temporary ordination program this June of this year, generally from all the European centres. People who would like to have the experience of what it's like to be a monk can do that for a month or for 2 weeks if they are pressed for time, but no less than 2 weeks. And generally the place where that is organised would be Ghent in Belgium, where we have a slightly larger centre where camping is possible. And here in March, the sign-up page is now functional, I think, for the weekend retreat, which would be Friday, Saturday and Sunday here in Woking. And there'll be meditation throughout the weekend here, which in the past has enjoyed quite a lot of popularity because it's a good way to extend the experience you have from our meditation session or daily meditation to take it one step further to meditate intensively over the whole period of a weekend. And to encourage those of you who might be thinking to meditate at home, I would encourage everyone who knows meditation to do a little bit every day if you can. Maybe just 20 minutes is a good sort of minimum time to start with, and to encourage that meditation habit. There's also a free app which you can download called Mind Gem, which has a selection of different meditation audio tracks and also just talks generally about the value of meditation, which you can put on your mobile phone and listen to and set a timer for your meditation that brings you out of your meditation with a soothing gong sound or something at the end of the length of time you set for yourself. So for today, I think that's probably all I have to say, but there is an opportunity for any comments, questions or feedback, and even those joining us online can also contribute any questions or comments via the chat feature of the Zoom or the comments on the YouTube page, if that's how you're watching it today. So I hand back over to Mr. Pett to finish off that.